We deployed right around $500 million for them in that market and picked up about 2,800 homes in about 16 months. There were some fun times. I think our largest day, we picked up 186 houses in one day from the courthouse. Building the airplane as we were flying it, type of a thing. Literally had to write the manuals on the acquisition, created the acquisition team from scratch and how to do it.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pro Show. I'm your host, Erica, and today I'm pumped to be joined by Travis. He is the powerhouse behind Sycamore Properties. Travis has an incredible track record with flipping over 250 homes and now pivoting towards spec homes. Travis, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on today. Look forward to speaking with you about the different opportunities that are out there and kind of the stuff that we've got going on in Charlotte and what we've got going on with our business.
Yeah, so let's dive on into Travis. For those who aren't familiar with your journey, walk us through that. What sparked your entry into construction, renovation, real estate?
Well, I think that, and probably not like a lot of people that kind of start this journey, that the corporate world kind of gets pretty drab after a certain point. So I had gone through the traditional route, got my college degree, went to work for a company up in Chicago, was selling IT equipment, and one was the weather and the location up there, but it was also some of the corporate droning that wasn't great. And so I relocated. I got an opportunity to work with Wells Fargo in the Cleveland area and was doing financial loans for them. And they promoted me, moved me to Indianapolis, got my own office there, turned that around. And the income and the bonus checks for what I felt like I did for that company I didn't felt they matched what the effort that I put in. And so I started looking for alternative ideas, and I'd always been interested in kind of passive income ideas and real estate, income and stuff like that. So at that time I was motivated enough to start looking deeper. So I really started searching for different places around the United States that might have the right demographics and the right growth potential. And that was in like 2004. So I started looking around, and Charlotte came to the top of the list. One for the weather's great here. The demographics and the population have a good, strong growth. I think we put on about 24,500 people last year. Last number I saw, we got 157 people, I think, a day moving to Charlotte. When I moved here in 2005, it was about 122 people a day. And we're the second largest financial capital in the United States. We're second only Wall Street. So a lot of New York is kind of waiting to get here. So that, in my opinion, had really good reasons for the real estate market in Charlotte to continue to grow. So I came down to Charlotte, got my real estate license, and worked with another investor, kind of got started, got going, and was primarily doing retail. And of course, the famous 2008/9 collapse kind of came into the market, as I'm sure as everybody can remember. And I was sitting there one day, and things were slow, as everyone could imagine. And Warren Buffett came on the TV. He was on Squawk Box.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And I remember it distinctly, sitting there saying, man, if I had a way to go buy several thousand houses right now, I'd do it. I'm sitting there talking back to the TV like, I could go do that. Like I've got the underwriting, I've got the metrics, like, yes, this should be done. And one way or another, I ended up getting a phone call from a client I was working with at the time that was buying some rental properties, and they got a call from BlackRock, and they decided they were going to deploy capital into that sector. So I became the acquisitions manager for them, and that was a great experience. And I got to work with those guys. It was full building the airplane as we were flying it type of a thing. Literally had to write the manuals on the acquisition, created the acquisition team from scratch and how to do it, worked with a bunch of different agents. And we deployed right around $500 million for them in that market and picked up about 2,800 homes in about 16 months. There were some fun times. I think our largest day, we picked up 186 houses in one day from the courthouse. So those metrics, just buy. And that I left that fund as acquisitions slowed down. They've kind of trimmed and added here and there. But that fund, I think that we probably started in the 2008, 9, maybe into 10, was probably about $500 million. It's probably worth about I ran some rough numbers, probably about 1.3 to 1.4 trillion now. So that was a great opportunity. And that was kind of where I got started and where I kind of cut my teeth, if you will. And then as that kind of culminated, they weren't buying townhomes or condos at the time, so I was allowed to buy those on the side. So I guess that would kind of bring us to our very first flip, and we picked up one from the courthouse. I think we paid $78 for it. And we had a buddy of ours go over and paint it for like $3,500. It was in fantastic shape. I'm an agent. We listed it up, sold it for, I think, like 135-ish, 128.9, actually. I think now I recall it fully. But that day when we sold that, I called up my now wife, and I was like, hey, she at the time was she was managing the mall in Gastonia, and I'd met her in real estate class. And I was like, okay, we've got a new job. We're not doing what we're doing anymore. So she was awesome. She went and got her general contracting license, and we got out and started flipping houses. And as you stated, we're about 250 of them in at this point.
Yeah, that's awesome. Was there a specific moment or deal that got you hooked in the construction specifically?
So the reason why she had a real estate license as well, and I was fortunate enough to meet her in my real estate class, and it was post licensing. Sat behind her and kind of drove her crazy till she agreed to a date. But we went into that sector of the market just because you end up paying a lot with, general contracting fees and stuff like that, and knowing what needs to be done. And so it was primarily the vertical integration thought on it. And if you think about home buyers, it's, it's not men. It isn't. It really isn't. And so and I see it still today, every day when I cruise the MLS, which you do with a lot of house flippers, and in my opinion, it's a big mistake. They've got men designing houses that women are buying, and it's nothing against men or for women or against men or women. It's just that typically in a real estate purchase, the woman is the final say on which house is going to be. So we felt like that design aspect was really important, and the vast majority of our flips right out of the box, we were able to break 95% of the markets we go into. We sell our product for a higher price per square foot than anything else on the market. So that was kind of why we went that direction, was a vertical integration and thinking about, our final customer.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And talking about your market, originally you did a lot of flipping homes, and now you're bringing in the spec home construction. Can you share what's driving your shift towards that? What's the vision there?
Yeah, so if you kind of look at
if you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors. and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
It's a larger market as a whole. You've got wholesalers on a national level that are, pulling back. You can hop on this, you can look at their stocks. They're in tough shape. If you look at the total new permits pulled on a national level, I think there's a lot of people predicting a pretty significant pullback. A lot of people, I know there's guys that, it's going to be a crash. It's going to be a crash. In certain locations, I'm not going to disagree with that. I think you've got a lot of movement that happened through COVID that probably has got people living in places that they don't necessarily want to be. But as we kind of look at that market to continue, as what we look at in the totality of the market, you kind of got a bifurcation of people that got in before that 2020 market where they've got the rates that are, sub 3. I know I've got a 2 handle. I'm sure I know several people with 1 handle mortgages. And so that kind of locks in that stage there. And as the general house flipping craze, if you will, because everyone's kind of gotten on HGTV and has decided that they watch Joanna Gaines and they can do what she does. So as that market has continued to super saturate, in my opinion, we're trying to look for what is kind of another better market. And in Charlotte, being such an old city, we've got a lot of infill product that wasn't built on initially because it wouldn't make cash flow sense at the time because the additional building costs, there was so much dirt, you could just go build somewhere else. But as that's continued to fill in, a lot of these infill lots, tear downs and stuff like that are creating better, different, new opportunities. So we were kind of moving over towards that just because a lot of our, flips is, especially if you start getting into the larger ones, if you're doing $500,000, $1 million projects and homes that are 2,500, 3,000, 4,000 square feet, your time in going through that house and ripping everything out, you spend the same amount of time building a brand new house. And what we can offer to a customer at the end of it with a 10-year warranty, full, all the goods coming from the builder, we're finding that market's a little bit easier to sell to a client. And we're able to offer a slightly unique product as we're offering a new home in neighborhoods that, they've got a lot of remodeled homes, older homes, but not a large plethora of new home options in those locations. So we think there's a lot of opportunity in what I would kind of call those infill lots, trying to go back behind what the original builders were doing and provide some new product in specific locations. So I think it's, that's kind of the opportunity, and that's why we're shifting that way. My wife also has some medical issues. Unfortunately, found out that she's got stage 4 cancer. We found out a year ago this past Mother's Day. So as she kind of comes somewhat offline with the general contracting work, we've got other designers and stuff. So we're looking to move our business around a little bit to search for those new opportunities. And I've gotten an opportunity, as I mentioned earlier, with a lender who's offering some partner stuff. I don't know if we want to go into that, but we're looking to kind of switch our market over. So that's kind of the reason we're looking to do that.
Yeah, wow. And, with working on all that stuff, what's been the key to being efficient and profitable at that scale? And then, the market shifting at the same time.
So the market shifted here too in Charlotte. I think we're tracking about down 2.86% last time I looked in Charlotte. That was probably last week. So we're just changing our underwriting out a little bit of that. I won't underwrite in summer months. I won't use them. June, July, August, if you're sending me comps for that, I just won't use them because, as everyone, if you don't know, you should know, the real estate market is extremely cyclical. The vast majority of homeowners are, you're looking at kids and families. And so that school season is a big driver of when people do and don't move. So trying to line up, the product so it comes on, at the right time of year is a big issue here. So that's, some of the things that, we're looking to do is the timing of the market.
Yeah. Travis, let's talk a bit about the spec home market because I know that's what you are shifting to. What's the biggest challenge you're seeing and how are you tackling it?
Well, so obviously I've got experience with scale, with my, with Invitation Homes. So
if you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Trying to look at this, larger business model of the house flipping spec building at large. If I read a book called How to Make a Few $Billion. It's a fantastic book. I recommend it highly to anybody. But it basically discussed roll-up programs. And what I think that's really been hard to do to master in this house flipping spec world is that, it's how to get the whole thing together. So what my kind of vision is like, okay, let's get a list of preferred builders that we can use in growth areas. Let's get a list of preferred wholesalers that can send us, potential lots, potential deals. And I think we've got the capital piece kind of solved here, to be able to bring that capital into the market and to go after that unique product. In order to get to that scale, as I mentioned earlier, house flipping is, depending on the year of the product you're buying, if you're buying something post 1978, lead-based paint, etc., it's a lot easier to transfer the labor force into somebody that's already designed into the labor force. So we're looking for builders that are building at least probably, 100 houses a year. I mean, some of the, semi-custom is probably 50 to 80 houses a year. And then for the lower end stuff, we're looking for builders that are building 200 to 300 homes a year. So when we kind of get into their system, we get the lot picked out or the tear down, it goes into their system and you can kind of pick out your puzzle piece and say, okay, this house goes here, this house goes here. And it saves on all the costs. So, okay, I got to go figure out, where my blueprints are for this, A lot of these builders that work is done. And if you look at the time cost of capital, if you can get it lined up where you're, building a house in 6 to 9 months versus trying to do 2 flips at, per quarter, 3 months at a time. And our market's not sustaining that. Our days on market have climbed. So you can't rotate as many product in a given year as you historically could here. So offloading that labor and bringing a superior product to market is the primary reason that I think it's, a good reason to head that direction, along with the, the competition kind of lifting off the gas a little bit here. It may offer an interesting window and opportunity to get into that particular sect.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exciting, Travis. Are you incorporating any specific design trends, or are there any strategies you have to make those homes stand out?
Yeah. So, this is not my strong suit for sure. And I kind of steer clear of this best I can. We've got designers that we'll hire and use and bring in. Raquel, my wife, actually has been doing a fantastic job with ours. So she's helping with design for now. We've got other builders that come with, my favorite spec builder, Grand Custom Builders here in Charlotte. I can't recommend them high enough. We did a spec build with them, and he crushed the record for the price per square foot sold in that zip code, I think by about $112 a square foot. But they'll come with their own designers and stuff like that. So it's really that it's getting that design into the build and making sure that you're getting the product right from the get-go. And I think a lot of that, offering that uniqueness is in the design of the home itself. So you can say, okay, we're going to take a proverbial track home, and then you're going to add a lot of stuff you would do in a traditional flip. Say, okay, we're not going to do builder grade faucets. We're not going to do builder grade lighting. We're not going to do builder grade, the fixtures and stuff like that you typically change out in a normal flip anyway. So it's just it's moving that builder grade product up out of a builder grade into a proverbial, I don't want to call it a semi-custom, but it's close to those lines. So I think that's the important thing to stand out. And then the other thing is just the locations that we're able to bring to market as Charlotte's an older market. So we've got a lot of stuff here we've got a fair amount of stuff that's a tear down, and we've got a lot of infill lots that weren't built on by original builders just because it wasn't cost effective at the time. So that's why we're kind of searching that sector of the market out here. And if we get this test drive right, I think that RoofMax is going to try. I'm sorry, not RoofMax. HouseMax is trying this in other places as well. And if they're able to kind of get this to work, I think that there's a larger roll up in that and offering new, unique products in areas that they're not currently being offered.
Yeah, totally. Travis, I want to transition a little here. As I'm sure you're familiar with, every real estate pro has a story where things didn't go as planned. Maybe a deal or project went sideways. Maybe there was a moment that tested your resolve. Do you have any moments like that in your journey? And what did you learn from it?
Yeah, I'm sure more than one. Uh, I've got a couple that come to mind. And I don't know which one's going to be more entertaining. We're in the short term rental world as well, so we've got some lake houses and stuff like that. There's some entertaining stuff there. I think probably the most beneficial, excuse me, lesson for the listeners and people who are out there looking to get into stuff like this is just we had a general contractor that pulled off a really big scheme on us that it caught us out. We met with him. He produced his general contracting license. He produced his ID. We checked his license. It was active. We started working with him. And by the time we kind of got through it, we went back in behind him and started realizing, hey, this isn't the code. This isn't right, et cetera, et cetera. Come to find out later, this person had completely frauded us. They'd given us someone else's general contracting license and went and did all that work. And it stolen our money. And then it tried to put a lien on the property under someone else's general contracting license. Of when we finally got a hold of the actual person that had that general contracting license, they had no idea that any of this had occurred. And trying to get that straightened out. And that particular one, we were working with a client that we'd helped them buy a house, and that particular house came with another house on it that was all beat up. So we were flipping that for him to sell it and subspect it off. So it was a mess. I think the biggest thing, and that's, get everything in writing. And as an agent, as a real estate agent, that's a big thing is get in writing. But even sometimes you get in writing, you can't just trust the writing. You've got to make sure you do your full due diligence. Even, I can't believe he snuck that by, but that was one big lesson that cost us. I mean, he probably got away with $40,000 of work that we had to go back and redo because none of the actual permits were there. So that was a big lesson for us. Make sure you do your due diligence on even your GC's licenses don't always mean everything.
Travis, you mentioned that with Sycamore Properties that you're looking to scale, which is really exciting. Are you focused on hiring, systemizing processes, or something else?
So, Sycamore Properties is the brokerage I work with. Our flip company, our GC company, as I mentioned, we've kind of been with our heads down working over here. Is CT Triple R LLC, and we now have a joint venture deal put together. So with HouseMax, so we're looking to work with them to kind of continue that out. But Sycamore Properties and what we're looking to do with HouseMax, as I previously mentioned, we're looking to try and get a list of preferred builders, wholesalers, real estate agents. If you have a deal that you're looking at, and I can kind of give you some general numbers on that. But right now in Charlotte, if it's got city sewer, city water, right around 100,000. If you've got a house you can sell for $400,000, that's a deal for us. If you're a builder and you want to say, hey, I know of a lot, or I've got this sitting here, I've got sitting there, we want to try and start bringing that in. We're working on a landing page for right now. They can send stuff to my email address, which hopefully you can link to your podcast at the bottom. But we want to start growing in the Charlotte market. We're looking to connect with, like I said, builders, wholesalers, real estate agents that can bring additional deals in, know that the funding's there. So the builders are going to get paid, their building fee. Realtors, we're happy to pay your commissions for things you bring us to. We're happy to let you sell the product at the end as well. And looking to try and do a roll up into the industry. And if we can get it to roll out in Charlotte, I believe that there is a smaller but national potential into. We would look at probably the top 5 growth markets in the United States is where we would head to. Charlotte it's so much of the growth is in Texas. It's pretty phenomenal. Charlotte's the sixth fastest growing larger metro in the United States. And we actually have the fastest growing per capita down in Waxhaw in just south of Charlotte. So we think this is probably a good area to get started. And so that's where we're really looking, as you'd mentioned earlier, kind of got your weaknesses. I think is one of the things you kind of like to cover on your podcast. And one of our biggest weaknesses has been our lack of, networking. It truly has. And with the kind of the change in my wife's, medical history here, we're looking to kind of, move that out and find out what other bigger, newer opportunities are out there. So that's, a big driver of what we're looking for is we'd like to try and bring the product in for some of those people that don't, they haven't been in the game as long. Maybe you're an agent and you maybe flipped one or two houses and you're like, oh, this would be a deal, but I don't have capital. Okay, well, let's look for those win-win-win situations. That's really what we're trying to drive for. Hey, if you think that you can make you can win as, you get your real estate commission, or you can win as a builder, you get to build an additional X number of homes a year. An agent, you get a commission, and then the real win at the end of the end client who gets what we believe is going to be an excellent product in unique areas. So that's what we're looking to grow out.
Hey, Travis, before we wrap up, if someone wants to connect with you, maybe collaborate on a project, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, it's Sycamore Properties, Travis at gmail.com. It's Sycamore spelled just like a tree, like a sycamore tree, SYCAMORE Properties with an S at the end, plural, and then Travis at gmail.com. We're getting some, like I said, we're working on landing pages and stuff like that. We're kind of new in this deal, but I was excited to get started and want to come on and kind of share some of the news with you and your listeners.
Yeah, Travis, your journey is inspiring. Thanks so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you giving me the time, and I appreciate what you're doing in the podcast world. I'm a big fan of podcasts. If you want to catch me on some of my older episodes, I've got another podcast too, The Trickster's Take on Real Estate Investing. If anyone wants to give that a listen, it's got a lot of the different various antics of some of the house flips and stuff that we've done. It's kind of with another investor buddy of mine. He's actually also my broker in charge, Tim Melton. He runs Sycamore Properties. But so if people are looking for more, want to hear more about what we're doing in our story, there's The Trickster's Take on Real Estate Investing is also another podcast you can check out.
Love it. Sweet. Yeah, everyone should check that out. For everyone listening, if you got value from this episode, make sure you're subscribed to the Real Estate Pro Show. We've got more conversations coming up with heavy hitters like Travis who are building incredible real estate businesses. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you, Erica.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.